Alright, welcome back to Hunting Jesse James. So this week we're talking about General Stan Watie. General Stan Watie was a Cherokee chief, Brigadier General for the Confederate Army, and he was instrumental in helping Jesse James and General Albert Pike, build out the spy network into the west of the Mississippi. Was an open frontier, and field commander of the KGC, Jesse James, had to expand and develop the network into an open frontier, which meant making alliances with the Indian chiefs. And because Stan Watie was a Cherokee chief, the Cherokee already had that network, in place. They already had alliances with the Apache and the Lakota and many of the other Plains tribes, or at least knew somebody that knew them, across the whole, because the trade network for Native Americans really was their strong point of usefulness for the spy network, for their own spy networks, when they were fighting the white people that were encroaching upon their territory. So it became very useful for the KGC, and Stan Watie was basically the instrumental element there that helped fuel that initial drive to create that network. And it meant Jesse had to make those alliances and build military posts across the whole network, across that whole territory to the Pacific Ocean. And so we'll get into more of that later, but that's basically, that's the main thing. The second other issue is that Stan Watie was in charge of all Indian brigades, and they were the last to come off the battlefield at the end of the Civil War, and they didn't have any weapons when they came off the battlefield. So a lot of people said that was not a full surrender. And then now we know that the KGC also didn't surrender their weapons or come off the battlefield at all, and continued to fight on for decades after the war until they built the Federal Reserve, which is also something our declassified files get into in this documentary called Resurrection of Jesse James. And so thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Hunting Jesse James. We'll get back at it with some more info that you've never heard real soon.